So I guess I'm just gonna talk. Let's try that one more time. Hi guys, welcome to Signal Path. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I have a few things to say and a slight announcement at the end of this video, but I wanted to kind of say a couple of things first because today is the day that marks 2 years of this thing that when I started out I called Signal Path, which was really just a place for me to sort of deposit random ideas for guitar and ambient music and pedal settings and the things that are really near and dear to my creative process and the things that I enjoy about music and music production that didn't really have an endpoint. I love that area of conversation. If you followed my story, if you followed this channel for any amount of time, you might know that I'm a marketer. I'm somebody who works with pedal brands, guitar brands, and brands really outside of the music space to improve their products, to improve how they communicate about their products and educate about their products. And so what the channel has become felt like a very, very natural extension of things that are well within my kind of gifting and wheelhouse. Over the last couple of years, things have really evolved. It started as mostly live looping into kind of talking with brands about, hey, what are the gaps in the ways that you communicate about your products? Are there things that you wish people knew or wish people had caught on the first wave? And let's go back through, because so many of these products have so much life to them, and sometimes it's only years later that for me they really click, and it's seeing somebody's video. And so that's what I've been focused on the last year or so. There's been a lot of different stuff that's come through. I thought I'd do a little bit of show and tell of some of my favorite things from this last year, and then we've got a bit of a giveaway, and that'll be sort of in the description, and I'll time code it toward the end so we can kind of spend a little bit of time there. But there's a few thank yous I wanted to say, because 2 years, and really I think a lot of points of me just in self-discovery of kind of what is this meant to be, what should it be, and why am I doing this at all. There's two people I really have to thank, and that is Mark Johnston and Andrew Shabilla of Ambient Endeavors, who were really, and I've said this before, the original reason that I started this channel, because I was constantly texting the two of them random clips to me like, hey, you're doing a demo on this pedal, right? You should throw this setting in. And their response was typically something to the effect of, man, just do it yourself. And it took me a while to jump that hurdle. The other piece too is I've learned to use a camera, and that was kind of one of the sort of ulterior motives of starting Signal Path. So I really wanted to learn how do cameras work, and to some of you who are deep in the creative space, that may seem like a silly goal or something that is maybe intuitively accessible. For me, it's not. It's something that has been a hard one, and I'm getting better. It still has a ways to come, but I've been enjoying the journey. So yeah, I really wanted to say thank you to those two. There's been some incredible brands, and I will, basically I'll have a playlist for year 2 down below, and if you're following along on Instagram, there'll be kind of a more drawn out post to cover all of the people who have really supported the channel and supported what I've been putting together. And really none of this would be as exciting or fun as it has been for the last couple of years without, some really, really incredible collaborations. But there's a couple that I thought were fun projects that I wanted to speak to. So let's do a little bit of show and tell. First up, and this has shown up on the channel, the demo is coming soon, but that is the Illumin Reverb from New Neighbor Effects, New Neighbor Audio. And if you're not familiar with my story, one of my first roles, my first significant roles as a marketer and kind of product consultant was with New Neighbor Audio. And this actually was, and I tell this story a little bit in kind of the demo video coming, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But this was my pitch. The very first meeting that I walked into their office, I said, hey, we need a reverb with presets. And it wasn't until, more than 2 years after that initial conversation, talking about features, talking about goals and refinements and, several other product launches in the meantime. But this was kind of in some ways my goal and my baby. It was something that I really, really felt strongly should be in market. And I felt like with how strong the New Neighbor algorithms are, that presets and MIDI and all of that for the multi-mode kind of paradigm that New Neighbor is so strong in, that this was something that really needed to be in the market. And so I'm stoked that this is something that came through. John and Chris and team are some of the kindest and most incredible people to work with in the space. And now that New Neighbor is joined with Quilter Labs, exciting to see what has come and will come for both brands. But that was one I wanted to talk through. Second up are the Collision Devices limited editions. One with Le Chevaux Blanc, which I think I said correctly, but the French among us can correct me if not, and the Black Hole Symmetry Chrome, and that mirror finish, man, that really, there you are. There's the camera. Incredible pedals. The chrome was kind of coming off the heels of the marketing conversation. A chrome on chrome pedal was something I was like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? They're incredible delays, incredible reverbs. I love like the fuzz in the Black Hole Symmetry. I love the tremolo, and just like the idea of like, here are three effects that are made to dovetail, to go really, really tightly knit together. Incredible pieces, but these limited editions are really the crown jewel in kind of the set of tools that I use, and they're rarely on boards because I'm so like kind of covetous of their condition and keeping them nice and pristine because they're so beautiful. But a couple of favorites for sure. Next up, the ZVEX and Little Box Effects limited edition with the artist Alexander in Minnesota. Alexander's a phenomenal graphic designer, artist with this really, really distinctive art style. And this is something that originally needed. I was like, hey, you really should do an Instant Lo-Fi Junkie. And that's on the shelf over there in the same kind of limited edition approach. And then, down the road, they're like, what's the follow-up? And it was the 59 Sound. This is an incredible overdrive, an incredible piece. I love how this turned out. So a highlight for sure to, even to get to help ideate in some of those spheres. Next up, the Cali 76 from Origin Effects. The Cali 76 is, and this is the stacked edition, I should say. This leads into my next one, which is that this year's kind of been an expanding year for me as a musician in many, many ways. And the reason for that is because I picked up, you can't really see it that good. It's a pedal steel, and I'll link some videos. If you haven't caught on, I'm not a maestro. I have not mastered this instrument by any stretch, but this is very, very near and dear to my heart. And without getting kind of too into real life and family backgrounds, my grandfather is the reason I got into guitar and got into music, really. And I grew up going to kind of his country gigs and hearing people play, swing and old Western music. And my means and uses for this instrument are very, very different than his were. But I kind of had just, as I was tracing my roots and, finding my way back to some of what made me fall in love with music, pedal steel was a huge component of that. And the transference over to ambient music and some of the things that I'm maybe a little bit stronger in feels very logical to me. But it is an instrument I love, and this is a beautiful piece. But that happened this year, and paired with the Cali 76 stack, that's kind of an essential pairing is compression and really, really beautiful compression. And so that feels exciting because it feels like it captures the tone I'm looking for. And so it's a phenomenal pedal for anything you put it through, but was very, very excited to add that to the setup as I'm learning and improving and kind of building forward with the instrument. And lastly, the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about in terms of show and tell was the Jennings Navigator. And this thing has really become sort of my sidekick, and I use this guitar constantly for a variety of different uses and a variety of different gigs. I played an entire album with it. I'm sort of natively a telly player. That's something that I'm looking. I see kind of two other tellies on the rack right now. It's something that it's a shape and a style and a neck style that I'm very, very used to, very, very comfortable with. And this is going to get a longer video soon. There's about a million things I love about it. Maybe two things that are, pickups. Pickups are maybe the sole gripe here. Luckily, those are easily swapped. But this guitar has become kind of in my mind, sort of synonymous with my playing. It's something when I think about what I'm playing and how I'm sounding, it's usually in terms of this guitar. And so I've been mixing it up a little bit lately in terms of demos and what guitars I'm using for kind of different devices and pedals. But this is home base. This is what I love the most. So Chad is a genius, and this is, he kind of humored me with the Tully shape, but his sort of originals and his inspired takes on certain kind of guitar styles and shapes are absolutely incredible. So exciting to have. It feels like I finally have a guitar that feels like me, and so super exciting. So on to the giveaway. And this is my favorite part, because who doesn't like free stuff? But I'm teaming up with Little Box Effects, Andrew, Ambient Endeavors, to give away one of these incredible yellow Montreal assembly count to fives. There's going to be a link in the description. That's kind of like the only call to action for this video is if you'd like to get in on this pedal, there's a new batch coming. That should be said, but before that new batch is coming, we're giving this away. And so head to the link in the description and we will have all that information ready for you. A couple of ways to enter, and yeah, super fun. I'm super excited to give one of these away because the count to five in my mind is kind of the granddaddy of that granular delay, ambient, pitchy, directional weirdness. And it's something that when I plug this in, I've played with many pedals that do, kind of similar territory of stuff. There's nothing like the count to five, and it somehow still manages years and years later to stand alone, really in its own space as kind of having its unique voice and approach. And so we thought it'd be fun. There's a new batch coming to give this away. There's a few ways to enter. Head to the link in the description to kind of get a feel for what the options are. But yeah, I mean, to close everything out, I really just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, tracking along as I've kind of gone on this journey. I think that's something that it is never lost on me. That people find what I put out halfway interesting. And so if you've ever left a comment or a DM or anything like that, it really genuinely means so much to me, because all of this has been a shot in the dark. It's been a journey of just putting stuff up and seeing, hey, what do people think? And really, I'm in it for the conversations and the random ideas that spark ideas and spark conversations that spark other ideas. And all of that is what is exciting about this entire process. So thank you so much for following along. Let me know. Shoot me a DM if there's anything that you want to see, anything that you hate seeing. As I kind of plan this next year, there's a lot on the table, and there's a lot of things that I'm kind of wondering what year 3 might look like. And so if you have thoughts on what you'd love, it would be so fun to hear. But thank you so much, and we'll chat soon.